We condition, Daniel, what were you thinking? Think. And punished for not thinking. So you take that on from the teacher or the parent or the grandparent who said, what were you thinking? And punishing you for not thinking. We get trained to think and overthink. I don't believe in faking till you make it. Just become it and it will attract to it. Okay. So when the law of attraction says think and grow rich, or what's the book called? The Secret. Okay. If you think it, you'll attract it. I say if you know it in your heart, in your being, in your just viscerally, all through you, if you know this, you will attract it. Average person has 60,000 thoughts a day. Of those 60,000 thoughts, 80% of those thoughts are from the past. Of those 60,000 thoughts, 80% of those are negative. Those are horrible odds to use. Negative thought getting you on your path into the rumble strip, into the gravel, scraping the guardrail and into the ditch are pretty good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Auto to Great podcast. My name is Daniel Lugo. I'm your host, and today I have the pleasure of having here an interesting story. His name is Steve Barton. So, Steve, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, audience. I'm Steve Barton. I live in Portland, Maine. I'm an executive coach. I creator of the Game of 10, which is a process I use in my coaching program. I'm willing to share it all with you today. And I presented to Harvard Business School case study team, and they liked it. They loved it. And so that was great. And in my previous life, I was a florist for 30 years, grew my family business from 200,000 to 2 million and loved every bit of it. And I left liking it. So that's to me a success. We sold in 2007, just before the crash in 2008. And so it was a good time to get out. And so I love business. I love psychology. I love helping people achieve their highest level of awareness, as well as all their goals and dreams. So that's what I love doing. And so what I love doing is what I do, and that's who I am. Thank you.
Oh, that's a great story, and I'm looking forward to going deeper into everything. And you just talked about, turning your company from 200,000 to 2 million in revenue, achieving what society calls success, right? But behind that outward achievement, what did your lowest point or most profound personal and spiritual crisis actually look like?
Good question, because that's what it was. It was that you nailed it. 13 years into running the flower shop, I started at 22 years old. I was leaving for Europe to study floral design because I've been designing flowers since I was 8 years old. You go to the flower shop when I was 8 years old. Basically, it was being babysat, but I was working because I loved to do that. I'd make them flower arrangements and they'd sell. So I became an entrepreneur really young. And at 22, I was leaving for Europe to study floral design. One-way ticket. I get a phone call 3 days before. My parents were at a floral convention, and I get a phone call from my mother saying that my father had a stroke. And so she said, he was only 48. And so he said, you can't leave. You got to come. You got to stay. I had finished business school, graduated at the university here and in business. And so I started running the business at 22 years old and did it for 30 years. So I got a strong business background. I retired in 2007. We sold the business and retired. It took a year and a half off. I worked my whole life. And so that was something new, something I'll never do again. But I love to work and I love to do what I do. And as I say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So to me, this coaching is fun and you can make money at it. It's a whole different, it's a whole different marketing than I've ever had. I'm selling an idea, not a flower. Okay. So that's a whole different way that I love the challenge. Yeah. So 13 years into the business, I went to therapy, and 34 years ago, you didn't tell someone you went to therapy. Okay. You had to be crazy to go to therapy. Okay. And today I recommend it to anybody who has everything in the world they want and is not happy. And that's what I was at. I had everything in the world I wanted, and I wasn't happy. That's what the therapist asked me. Why are you here? And that was my answer. I said, what can I expect and how long is it going to take? And he says, typically it's 3 months, but you're halfway there. I said, I have everything in the world that I want and I'm not happy. That is messed up. I used a different word I can't say on the podcast. And he
Thank you.
laughed. Yeah, and he laughed. And that's when he said about a month and a half and what you'll get is inner peace or mental health, he said. And I had no idea what mental health meant then. Now I coach it. I coach through success. First of all, you have to have mental health and you have to have awareness of who you are and expanded that awareness and coming from awareness versus thought, coming from awareness using from the state of intuition and intentionality and using your thoughts, using your feelings, using your emotions, using your skill set, using your mind and body and identity for in alignment with who you truly are. And that is a divine being, having a physical experience.
I really like all that you said. But one of the things that you mentioned, and I heard it 1,000 times, is that when you do something that you love, it's not work, right? And for the target audience for this podcast is young adults and teenagers who are looking for that purpose, that driven thing, and I think it's something important that they need to seek. And seeking therapy is not a bad solution. Is not a bad solution. For me, I'm going to therapy after 4 years of going through hardships, right? At first, I didn't believe in it, right? I mean, it's gonna be my first try to see how I feel afterwards. But if you feel like it's gonna work for you, go at it. Or, and I can express this enough, find that thing that you love and go at it. You love doing flowers and you spent 30 years doing it. And now you love coaching, right? Different, completely different things because I also did study business, right? And one thing to sell flowers and it's another thing to sell ideas, right? When I'm doing the podcast, I sell ideas, right? So it's completely different, even though it's business. So if you do the thing that you love, I love what you said is that it's not work.
It's play. We're here to recreate. We're here to recreate. Same word. Have you noticed? Spelled the same. And we're here. Recreate means to play. Recreate means to produce. That we're here to produce from the idea to the physicality. That's where we use our thoughts. That's where we use our body. That's where we use our mind. It's a tool. But so many people start with the tool of overthinking. Eckhart Tolle says the biggest addiction we have in this world is overthinking or thinking at all. It's that we become addicted. Rene Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. Steve Barton says, I think, therefore I'm not. I'm not being aware. I'm not coming from awareness. I'm not coming from. So I've created the game of 10 to teach people how to get into a state of no thought. I say to my clients, I say, they'll say, what am I going to get from this? I said, I'm going to teach you how not to think. My God, what am I going to do if I don't think? I said, you're going to know. You're going to come from no, you're going to download ideas. You're going to work from your intuition. You're going to know stuff before it even happens. I would help people develop their intuition. I help people develop their intentionality. That's goal setting. And I teach people, I work with high level achievers who really have big ideas. And I want you to have such big ideas that if you told other people, they think you're crazy.
That's the way we should go at it. We need to have a great ideas. And many high achievers, the ones that you work with, sit in the gray area of feeling deeply unfulfilled while appearing completely successful on the outside. In your own journey, what was the exact moment or breaking point where you realized external achievement was no longer enough?
Well, that's when I went to therapy and I knew I had to, I was reading they say when the student ready, the teacher appears, and the teacher can be a book, it can be several books, it can be other people, it can be teachers who come into your life, spiritual. I had a spiritual awakening within 3 weeks of my first session. And I had an out of body experience. I got into a heightened state of consciousness. I had no clue what I was doing, but I did everything. Looking back, I did everything to create it without knowing I was doing it. So I had a spiritual awakening, an emergence or emergency that just was like, I had no clue what I was doing. I go, but I loved it. I got naturally high that I'd ever been. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm so high. I didn't know enough about grounding. I didn't know, I had nothing to go on and I couldn't tell anybody. I told my family and friends and they thought I was crazy. So, yeah, you know what I mean?
Hey, sometimes people think that you're crazy when you have a big idea or, you went through an experience and going through that spiritual journey, if you want to talk about it. For me, one of the big things in recovering from all the surgeries I've gone through 11, right? One of the big things has been my faith, right? My spiritual journey has also been an important part of my recovery all my life. Can you talk to us more about that spiritual journey that you went through?
Sure. Yeah. Um, First of all, my friends and family thought I was crazy. Okay. So I learned that don't talk to them about it. Okay.
One.
One, don't find the people who get you, know you, and like you. Or just find new people who all. So I went to the metaphysical bookstore, and all the people I used to think were crazy were becoming my friends. So, so first find the people you thought were crazy because they're not, and then have discernment and just give yourself a break. And you have to learn to assimilate normal life into a natural state of being, and that's what takes time. Give yourself a break. Know that it's okay what's going through. Talk to people. Talk to spiritual teachers who really get it from a common sense, practical, psychological explanation of what you're going through. Okay. First of all, you're not crazy if you go through this. You've actually broken through some crazy. Uh, you broke out of the matrix basically, and they don't teach you in school what to do, or even churches. I don't. Some do. If there's some really great therapists out there, some great ministers and priests too who get this. And they'll teach you how. Hopefully, they will teach you how to stay calm, understand others may not understand it. Understand that what you're going through is, I think, more when more people are having it, because more and more people are talking about it. So we're aware that it's a possibility. And I don't know, some people go through it in life, some people don't. And it's not my place to judge. So I call the game of 10 breaking out of that into that awareness of natural versus normal, the unconditioning of the conditioned mind that we were conditioned to believe. When you said faith is great, great word. And I've thought about this too recently. And we have thoughts, and thoughts that are very strong become beliefs. All right. But there's still thought forms. And if those beliefs are aligned with who we are, they're great. But we don't know that beliefs, it's like, I believe this is true. Well, do you know it's true? I think it's true. Well, do you know it's true? Well, I believe it's true. Okay. So if we don't know that's something, but I have faith. When I had the out of body experience, I, I had a near death experience too. So do I know that you don't die? That I know. Okay. So that I know. A lot of people have faith in heaven, or they have faith in an afterlife. I have knowledge that you don't die. So, and I also have the ability to communicate with factual. So I say an evidential medium, if you will, that there's no way that, why would I know this person? Why would I know their name? Why would I know what they smell like? Why would I know what they did for a living? Why would I know that everything I'm going to say to you, you have a complete knowledge that, yep, we did that, we did that, we did that. There's no way. So I do know that, and that gives me really comfort to know that when I had this experience, that I'm not afraid to die. Okay. But I really enjoy the physical living that I live right now. And I will extend it as long as I can. And when it's time for me to shed this body, bring it on. Don't threaten me with a good time. Right.
If there's one thing that I can say for a fact to anybody, is that we're gonna die. At some point,
You're gonna leave your body.
correct, correct.
Yep.
At a certain point, we're gonna leave this earth, right? Our soul is gonna go. If you live in heaven, afterlife,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
but at some point we're gonna die, right? And some people take for granted, right? We all have an expiration date that we don't know. It's not like the milk in the grocery store that you know the expiration date of, or the products at the store that you know the expiration date. In this life, we don't know when our expiration date is. So finding that state of being and finding that real success for you, right, it's gonna fit you well and it's gonna help you live a more relaxed life. And you know that for a fact that at a certain point you're gonna die. And when that point comes, be the person that you wanna be at that point, and not be the person that somebody else wants you to be.
Well said. And that's about being your authentic self. When you start saying, "Oh, I want to be like Tom Brady," no, you don't. I want to be like Steve Barton. Okay. I some people want me to be like they are. No. So you get it from both sides, from ourselves and from others. And the key is to be yourself and set really loving, healthy boundaries with people who want you to be like they are or someone else. Or if you want to be like someone else, no, you can say, I like the aspects or the physicality. Then go to the gym. Okay. I like the personality. Develop the personality. That's fine. But do it from you and do it your way. And that is being your authentic self. So we can, and I love, I'm top 10 pod match. And I found out that just out of the blue, I got an email saying, "Oh, you're in top 10 pod match." I'm going, huh, that I like that. I said, I'm going to see if I can get to number one. and and I found that I'm really competitive with myself, and I never beat myself up. Okay, so that is the part of competition's great, but don't ever be. First thing I say to my clients, they are just relentless on themselves. And they've used it beating themselves up. I can do better. I can have more. I got to get this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And if you make a mistake, they beat themselves up. They beat themselves up and relentlessly. And I just stop. No more. The game of 10. Can't beat yourself up. What we were conditioned to. You were conditioned, Daniel, what were you thinking? Think, think, think. And punished for not thinking, right? So, and it was hurtful. So you take that on from the teacher or the parent or the grandparent who said, "What were you thinking?" and punishing you for not thinking. So we get trained to think and overthink. And if we didn't get the result that we wanted, I got to think more. No, no, you got to let it go. You have to let go of all those thoughts so new thoughts can come in. The Cleveland Clinic did a study on thoughts. The average person has 60,000 thoughts a day. Eh,
I may have more.
yeah. Well, you've done well. Now it's time to let them go. So, all right. So that's going to be your work. And of those 60,000 thoughts, 80% of those thoughts are from the past. Okay. Of
Makes sense.
those, yep. Of those 60,000 thoughts, 80% of those are negative.
Makes sense.
Those are horrible odds to use, okay, to go to Vegas with, okay? So
Terrible.
yeah, terrible odds. The odds of you picking a negative thought, getting you on your path into the rumble strip, into the gravel, scraping the guardrail and into the ditch are pretty good, okay? So eventually you end up in the ditch until you wake up and saying, "Oh, there's something else."
And one thing that I would like to add here is that comparison is the thief of joy. If you compare yourself to people that have a long way ahead of you, there's no way that you can compare yourself to that. You can learn. You can say, "Oh, okay, I see Tom Brady. What can I learn from Tom Brady that I can apply to myself and still be myself?" Right? Maybe the word ethic, maybe, or something else. Right? You can add a little thing, but some people try to compare themselves. If I were to compare my podcast, for example, to Joe Rogan, right? It wouldn't be a fair comparison because he has more than 1,000 episodes, right? He has way more experience than me, and he has way more connections than I do. If I do that, I'm in a road to say to myself, this is not worth it. But what you're not realizing is that Joe Rogan started at zero, and you also started at zero, and your increasement will come. So you have to stay at it and compare yourself. Sorry, not compare yourself, learn from those people and see the things that can be applied to the thing that you're doing. For example, my thing is the podcast, or for you right now is the book that you're writing, or anything that you're doing right now with the personal coaching. Right? Grab the things that you can add to you but don't compare yourself to be Tom Brady, right? Because that's not a fair comparison.
You
And
were
you're
your
not never gonna be Tom Brady. You're gonna be, for example, Daniel Lugo, Steve Barton.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Be the best version of yourself. Do you want to play the game of 10 with me?
For sure. Let's go
All
ahead.
right. So when we say that we are 10, 10 is our highest level of awareness. It is our connection to source energy when we are 10. Okay. So repeat after me and say this as if you believe it. Okay.
All right.
You might not believe it yet. And it would be quite normal that you don't. Okay.
I'll
So
give it my best try.
well, I don't believe in faking till you make it. Just become it, and it will attract to it. Okay. So the law of attraction says, think it, and you think and grow rich, or what's the book called the the secret. Okay. If you think it, you'll attract it. I say if you know it in your heart, in your being, in your just viscerally, all through you. If you know this, you will attract it. Make sense?
Hmm.
I am 10.
I am 10.
Yes, you are. Doing the best that I can with the awareness that I have.
Doing the best that I can with the awareness that I have.
I'm always right with the awareness that I have.
I'm always right with the awareness that I have.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I do enough.
I do enough.
I have enough.
I have enough.
Those 6 phrases put you into alignment of consciousness, awareness. It quiets the mind. It answers every question it is constantly nagging you about. Eh?
I like
And
that. I like that.
yep. And it takes practice to uncondition ourselves. So you might have had a nanosecond of no thought. I've had people bliss out. A colleague of mine, I said, I'm in a business group. We meet in person every Thursday morning. And I see his name is Steve too. A lot of Steves. There's 7 Steves in my business group. So we have numbers. I'm Steve 10. Okay. I just said, there's 7 of them. I just said, just call me Steve 10. Okay. So Steve, one of the Steve says, I go, how you doing, Steve? And he knew about the game of 10. And oh my God, I was up all night. My mind's racing and I'm overtired and my mind is just racing. I said, see me after. So we go in the other room. It's in a club, old club. And we sit down. I go, repeat after me. He knew the phrases. And we did the same thing we're doing. He goes, I can't think. I can't think. And he starts laughing. He goes, I can't think. I go, you blissing out? He goes, I'm blissing out. I can't think.
For me, when we just did it, right at the
Yeah.
end, I was like empty.
Yeah. Empty. Empty. I did this with another podcaster. He goes, I forgot what I was going to say. I said, you did it
Okay,
right.
that's a really bad idea. You need to know what you're gonna say. You
He
should have warned me.
yeah, I didn't want to warn you. You might not have played. So what that does, it opens up your subconscious too. So it clears out all those thousands of thoughts. It gives you the space. All right. And you know what the universal space is? You'll never get it. I've only had one person get it. You know what the universal space is?
No,
You said it.
please,
You said it. You
please
said it.
enlighten me.
I will tell you because nobody gets it. Even I'll play with you this way. You said it 3 times in the past 5 minutes, that one word. You said it 3 times in a row.
Yeah, 3 times in a row.
Yeah. And you said it within 5 minutes. And our ego does not want us to figure out the truth. And that's how powerful our mind and our identity ego is. Okay. It's tricky. It's not powerful. It's tricky. All right. So only one person's ever gotten it that I've asked. And it was a podcaster. And it's like our minds, this is just an example of how the saboteur, the imposter the trickster of our mind doesn't want you to know the truth. It's because it's so insane. It thinks it's going to die. It's a mind-made entity that we created, that's created within us, that we create. And it's just thinks it will die. Oh my God, what if my thoughts can't run the show? Oh my God. So do you want me to give you the universal time is now. The universal space or quantity is
Past, maybe.
enough, enough.
Enough. Okay.
It's not you, Daniel. Trust me, it is not you. It's our mind.
I was so lost. I was like, I'm just gonna
I
guess.
know our minds. This is how tricky our trickster is inside of us. So we want to master our mind. It's a tool. Okay. We are the master of our mind. But if we don't master it, it will master us. It will overtake us with thought, overthinking, overwhelming us. We want to be in whelm. We don't want to be underwhelmed. We don't want to be overwhelmed. We want to be in the sweet spot of 10 as whelm. Okay. But it's just the way it works. So good job. You explain you because you're a smart guy and you are. And everyone's smart, but our ego that someone said to me once, I have a great relationship with my ego. No, you don't. It hates you.
I mean, if I were to go by my ego,
Mhm.
not even the podcast would be on.
Exactly. Exactly. You'd have fear of failure. You'd be said, this is crap. You're not, it's not happening right now, you know?
It's that
And
imposter syndrome.
yep, exactly. Exactly. And so when there's a gap, so I ask when I get a client, I say, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 with happy, healthy, wealthy, healed, and whole? Typically 7, 6, 8, typically. So what I do is I help them, and the gap is filled in with thoughts about, stories about, addictions, overthinking. Eckhart Tolle says, as I said, the biggest addiction is overthinking and thinking. But oftentimes people will fill that gap in with other addictions. You name it. You name it. There's hundreds of them, and things I can't even think of. So anyway, yeah, they want to fill it in. They want to create the excitement or joy. They get addicted to the drama mostly. It's about drama, excitement. And the game, so I call that the game often played. Anything under 9, 1 through 9. Nines are very successful, but they want to have that 10% gap so that they can have, it's almost like gasoline fuel for them to get them going, to light that fuel, to light that fire under their butt, to make more, to get more, to have more, to be more, to do more. I need, the carrot. I almost got the carrot. I almost got the shiny object. Oh, another one. Oh, you almost get that shiny object. Yes, I'm thinking outside the box. I say, you are the shiny object. You are the carrot, and there is no box.
I like that. So one other question I wanted to ask, you co-author the Value Design and the Aha Moment with your son Spencer. How did working through your personal transformation impact your family dynamics and your role as a father?
That was probably the best father son. Don't anyone out there compare yourself to writing a book, personal development book with an 18-year-old son. The fact of the matter, I wrote him out of the book as part of the process. Dad, Dad, I can't get the stuff in on time. He had 30,000 words. I got more to write. I got more to write. I said, and I'm, they only worked with one. I worked with Difference Press during COVID and got to work with Marianne Williamson. I don't know if you know who she is. She's a former Texan, Austin, Texas. And, for 13 times, 7 times New York Times bestseller, 13 times author, ran for president twice. Okay. So I get to
Wow.
work. She was my coach. And so I got to know her. There were 20 of us in the group. So, but they didn't do co-authors together because they didn't want to deal with any dynamics they had one. So Spencer got to meet Marianne on one of the calls. I got reprimanded for bringing him on without paying. I said, so she wanted to, I said, well, Marianne asked you, well, she wanted to meet him. Marianne will ask for, she likes anybody. I said, so do I. So I just basically, it was funny. So yeah, during that time, it was great. I think it went really well. He would he's a he's 18 he at the time. And he said he wanted to get it perfect. And I said, I got the deadline is this time. And he says, and he'd done this before. And I said, all right, I took 3 days and wrote him out of the book. and, and he says, Dad, I need more time. I said, no, you don't. What do you mean? I said, I wrote you out of the book. She goes, well, why'd you do that? I've got all this stuff. I said, well, they don't care. And I asked them, they're going to charge a lot more money to extend this. So, no, you're good. We're good. Well, Dad, I want to be part of writing the book. I said, no, it's full. Then get it in on time. You got 3 days to get it in.
Wow. So
So, am I a tough dad? Or do I stick to my word? I mean, I had 5 people. Boom, boom, boom. The editor was going to edit. The publishers, they were going to do book. They had stuff that had to get in on time because this caused this, caused this, caused this, caused this. It wasn't just one person. So my son got it in 5 minutes after the deadline. I said, "You're in." I kept the original copy, threw in his stuff. The editor laughed. He goes, "You could have had another 3 days because of the holiday." I said, "We're not telling Spencer." Bad dad or good dad. You decide.
I will say good that
Yeah,
we have to be punctual.
there you go.
Yeah. So you have stated that our greatest hardships are not obstacles, but invitations. Invitations to wake up, grow, and become who we were meant to be. If a listener feels right now like their life is falling apart,
Mhm.
how do they start viewing their storm as an invitation rather than a defeat?
If they feel like their life is falling apart, it is. Okay.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So let it fall apart.
I mean,
Let
I
it fall apart. Let it fall apart and let it crumble. Let it burn. Okay. Let it burn because if it wasn't meant for you, let it burn. I love that. There's a thing on TikTok. Let it burn, because you need to grow. You're a phoenix. You're becoming a phoenix. Let it burn. Okay. And then when it's ashes and you get that breath and you take a breath and you say, now that I've lost anything, who am I? And build from there. I am happy. I am healthy. I am healed. I am whole. I'm abundant. And just be that. So you need to have, sometimes people need that breakdown to really have that awakening to who they truly are.
I like that. But at the same time, for example, I went through a medical journey and that was
Mhm.
my downfall. At the time, I couldn't say that I was healthy, right?
Right.
I wasn't either happy.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. You had a good attitude about it, right?
I did. I tried my
Yep.
best.
And you found some great physicians to help you in your healing journey, correct?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Mhm. All right. Well, I'd probably say a lot of your healing was done by your attitude because I believe that placebos are 60% effective, 70% effective. So if you go into something with, I don't even know what you had, but attitude is so important to know, to have the faith. Okay. When you don't know, you have to have faith. But
For
if you
sure.
didn't have that faith and you were convinced you were going to die on the operating table, you increase the odds. Let me put it that way.
I see. I see. By my attitude of knowing that there's a future ahead, that helped me pull through.
100%.
So for the logical, result-driven professionals or people
Hmm.
who struggle with overthinking, what is one practical exercise or daily habit that they can start today to reconnect with their intuition and inner stability?
What do you think, Daniel? The game of 10 phrases, 6 phrases. Okay. It's like going to the gym. Oh, I did 10-pound weights. I did a set of them. I'm good. You keep doing those and then you increase to 15 pounds. Okay. Those are light. Then you go to 20 pounds. Okay. So do those phrases. One thing I do want to say before the audience leaves, because when you say these phrases, it opens up the can of worms. It opens up your shadow. It opens up all the hurt, the pain, the inner child work that you were suppressing that keeps you down to 2, 3, 4 pressure. Okay. So above our ears, we have a temple, right? And in that temple, create a temple in that mind, in your mind, create a temple. Have your Daniel temple, have it be divine for you. You create your own, you're the creator, create the temple. And in that temple, create an altar. Marianne Williamson taught me this. So I didn't make this up, but it works. So if it works, great. So in that temple. So people think they have to forgive the person, place, or situation that happened that we created or someone else did to us. We have to let go of the thought, the emotion we attached to it, and the story we built around it. Okay. So all the thoughts around a certain situation. When I first do with clients, oh my God, there's so much. I said, rent Eartha, the largest dump truck in the world, in your mind, and bring it up there. Okay. You ever hear Eartha?
No, but I can imagine.
Yeah, it's the biggest dump truck in the world. Bring it up there and dump them all on. Okay. turn around and say, and if you're going to say anything, say, I'm willing to see things differently. Because we're willing to take on this pain, this guilt, this shame, this fear, self doubt. We're willing to take it on. We have to be willing to let it go. So when you say that, and if you turned around, it's gone. Someone asked me once, where's it go? I said, Disney World. I don't know. It's not real.
I wish
It
I were
really
at
is.
Disney World.
I know. Well, that's where all those negative thoughts go.
I like that. And if you travel back in time to talk to the version of yourself going through that intense personal and spiritual crisis, what is the single most important truth you will tell him?
Well, first of all, I didn't think it was a crisis. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was a crisis for people around me. It was a crisis for them. It wasn't a crisis for me. So I had to stop you there. So say the after the crisis thing. So after I had this great thing happen, that was a crisis for people around me because I had no clue what I was going through. And was I going to destroy the business? Was I going to run up and down the street naked? They had no idea what I was going to do. So uh, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And that's who I am. That part that came out of my body that was pure light is who I am. It's who everyone is. And most people don't know it. So
Well, before we end that podcast, Steve, can you please tell the audience where they can find your coaching, schedule a discovery call, and explore the game of 10?
absolutely. You can, in fact, audience, you can download my book for free. It's on my website. Just scroll down the bottom, put in your email address, and you'll get my free book. You will get 5 trickles about how wonderful I am to work with as coaching. So go to www.steve, coaching.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn. Every week I do a new content, and anyone who messages me, I will message them back. And I'm actually using a lot of podcasts now. I'm going to be hiring a company to create clips to go on all social media. So that's exciting. So I've got over 100 podcasts I've done. And this is one of the good ones. I like it too. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming over, and I want to thank the audience for listening in. I will leave the link for Steve's website down in the description, so if you want to go and download his free book and start practicing the book of 10, you're more than welcome. I will leave that link down in the description. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with the people that you love. We want to keep spreading this message all around the world. I want to thank Steve again. Thank you for going over the podcast and sharing your knowledge and your story. And if before I end the podcast, do you have anything else for the audience?
The book says the Father, the Son, the aha moment, tools for helping you and your child develop a path to happiness. For those out there who don't have children, everyone has an inner child. Okay. So read it to your inner child for parenting your inner child. To do that is our subconscious. I'm convinced our subconscious is our unhealed inner child that we work from until we become aware that it becomes you adult yourself. So thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And then again, thank you, the audience, for listening in. May God bless you all. Take care.